done, that will be quite a symbol in the center of Provo, which was not our goal, but what we had to do to take advantage. We've had to build up because we don't have a whole lot of land. In fact, we'll talk about acreage at the Spanish Fork site. This is all being built on about a 20-acre parcel of property. We've picked up another 10 or so for parking. To put that into context, the IMED campus in Salt Lake, because we could start from scratch, we have 100 acres at that spot. Riverton is, I believe, which is a small hospital. And how much does it have, Scott? About 35? Yeah. And what did we buy here in Spanish Fork?
Well, we originally bought, I think it was
40, and we've bumped that up now to 50. So you can appreciate that's part of why this is all towering up, is because land is tight, and that's what happens in urban areas. So we're pretty excited about this project. Again, it will break ground officially this summer, and it will take us 3 years. We'll be under construction for 3 years, so we won't even get to use that building until the year 2018. I'm pretty excited about that. Let me just tell you a couple of things about this that will impact the Spanish Fork Hospital as well. We are trying to learn from our experience and from the best minds from around the country to make sure that we're building this hospital to be here for the next 50 years. I talked about how healthcare is changing, and what you'll see is the very, very sickest will likely be in hospitals for short stays. Every one of these beds is being built exactly the same, with the ability to convert to an ICU. So as patients get sicker and you may need more ICU beds, they can convert and flex back and forth. It gives us the ultimate flexibility as we look into the future. They're also being built to be operationally effective for nursing staff. They're all identical. They're all right-sided. They're all done in such a way that if a nurse has been working, and this happens a lot in our hospital, someone will be working up on neural shock trauma or up on the ortho-neural floor, and then they go down to neural shock trauma. It's a pretty radical difference between the units right now, and they have to get reoriented about where are the linens, where are the meds, how do I chart on this floor, and all those things. That's all been eliminated in this hospital. We'll continue to do that with all new hospitals that we build to make sure it's a good experience for the nursing staff and the physicians as they work inside the hospital.
I'm Mike McKell. I first met Kerry Robarge about 4 or 5 years ago. I was in a collision, needed to get my vehicle repaired. I've been friends with Kerry ever since. He's taken great care of me. He does great work. He's been in Spanish Fork for 10 years. He's done tremendous work in the community. He's worked with the chamber, and he's done a lot of work to improve our community. This is a great shop. They have a class act business. I highly recommend Robarge Collision to anybody who's been in a collision. Check them out on the south end of Main Street across from the fairgrounds.
Remember neon shoelaces, plain jacks and sack races, mini skirts and polo shirts, sock hops and all-day pops, cat-eye glasses, tinfoil trees, wearing socks up to your knees. Memories come back to me. Whoa, at confetti antiques and books. Woo!
Hi, welcome to Carrie's Designs Floral.
Carrie's Designs Floral will help you make just the right statement for all your special occasions. From weddings to holidays, boutonnieres and corsages.
Quality's important to me, and I want all of my customers to be satisfied with every purchase they make at Carrie's.
Voted Business of the Year, Carrie's Designs Floral is located at 245 South Main in Spanish Fork.
Hi, I'm Aaliyah, a fourth-generation member of the Painter Motor family. Here at Painter Motor, we offer a wide range of GM makes and models. We pride ourselves in customer quality and competitive pricing. Come on down to our showroom at 1100 North Main Street in Nephi, Utah, or visit our website at www.paintermotor.com. No pressure, no hassle. We'll help you find your dream car.
So I think that's all I have on Utah Valley. This would be the main entrance coming in. So, any questions on Utah Valley Regional? And then I'll shift to Spanish Fork. Yeah.
The physician's plaza on the east of the building, it looked like that was going away. Is that
It's
also?
not. Good question. That's a specific question. Thank you. This is coming from Cromwell. He's my good friend from Central Utah, now at Canyon View Clinic. So this is actually where it is. So the big change will happen for those that have been there is there used to be a connector right there that came into the tower. We do have to eliminate that connector. So that is, and we're also historically, this is more detail than you probably want, but we had that building on a long-term land lease, like a 100-year lease. A funny thing, and we're selling that property to the physicians just so they have outright ownership of that building. Ironically, we own about a fifth of it anyway, so we're one of the owners of that building, so we're selling part of it to ourselves. Any other questions about?
And there's also a new outpatient building going there.
This one right here, so that'll house cancer services, rehab services on about first 2 or 3 floors, and then on the upper floors we'll consolidate where we have in any of our employed positions, so neonatologists, MFMs, which is a high-end OBGYN, a specialist for OBGYN, our cardiovascular surgeons, a lot of those physicians that are scattered all over the campus will consolidate up into that building for better functionality. And that'll have a connection right into the hospital through there so that they don't have to go outside to get it. But right now they do. We've got them all over the place. So good question. I had another question right here.
We still have valet parking?
We will always have valet parking. Yeah, absolutely. And it's free, and you do not tip them. And if they ask for tips, tell me, because they're not supposed to. So, and valet parking, that's when you always worry people will see that as, boy, that seems exorbitant for a hospital to have. But there are just situations when it's absolutely critical, and we realized that some years ago that that's a service we've got to provide in tough situations. If you've ever heard Brian Regan, he's a comedian, talks about going to the ER and he's dying, and he goes, "No valet parking, greatest oversight ever," right? And that's kind of the concept here, is to help them out. And then we obviously, the types of patients that come in here, the higher acute services are the frail and elderly, and sometimes navigating our parking garage and the distances they have to walk are just too great. And so that's a service we've provided and we'll continue to do. Great question. That's a good thing, right? I probably should. I sound like selling it. It's a good thing, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I need to listen. So, any other questions about Utah Valley? Okay. Well, let's go to South County, and I'm probably going to tell you things that you already know before I dive into this information. But I think it's awesome to celebrate what's happening to Utah County in general and the impact that will have on South County, and help you understand what is driving us to the decision to want to come in to your community and build a hospital. Now, I have to throw this caveat, especially since I'm on TV, so it's all recorded. This is not I can never make an official announcement that, boy, it is happening for sure, right? Because we have a board that represents all of you. Again, you're the owners. There's a board of non-paid volunteers that make final decisions on this. And so there'll be a decision-making process that takes place. And I'll explain that a little bit as we go. But we're definitely progressing very nicely along the path to where we would build this hospital. So let's jump in and talk through what's going on in the south end of the county. First of all, almost 1 out of every 4 Utah County residents lives in the Springville area south. And that's how we've defined South County. So Springville South, it's 128,000 residents. And you're experiencing a pretty fast growth rate. You can see that it happened over 2000 to 2010, and it will continue to happen into the future. And you can see this is our projection of what we see going into the future. So think about that area, Springville South. That's your line right there in the blue. This is the North County, which has been another fast-growing part of the county, and then West has been the area everyone always talks about right now. Saratoga Springs, Eagle Mountain, all that kind of stuff seems to have the cachet in our county, but the reality is your area is the area to pay attention to, because pretty quickly that's going to be population in Utah County, and I think that's just awesome. I used to wonder, I said, now why was that going to happen when I first moved here? I questioned the governor's numbers, but if you look at what's happening, all of the high-tech industry, all those types of jobs have moved right to the point of the mountain. So I live kind of more that way. And that is just getting developed like crazy. Well, the cost of housing continues to go up. So for those employees that want affordable housing, they're going to be coming down here. And that only means property values are going to go up as well, but maybe more reasonable than what we're seeing in Alpine Highland area. So we're really excited about that kind of growth. Is it and this comes from the governor's data, but would everyone agree with this premise? Okay. So the next piece then, so by 2030 we see 250,000 people just in this part of the county, which is basically the Provo-Orem area right now. And by the way, Provo-Orem, pretty stagnant growth. There's not a lot of land left to build on. They've built out a lot by the lake. They've got the Geneva Still property, which is technically not Orem, it's vineyard. But not a lot of opportunities. You'll see more growth upwards than out in that part of the market. So a lot of the growth, that's the other thing that will push to the south. Just more data on the ads, so you can see the south, what we see from 2015 to 2030. Look at that chunk. And if any of you have worked with the county, again, they obsess about this part right here. And this is really the thing to pay attention to, is your part of the county. Pretty exciting stuff. And then the other piece for us is Select Health. I'll tell you two things about Select Health. I think most of you know that's the insurance product that Intermountain Healthcare has. When I talked about Can You Do Clinic being number one, it's actually Select Health that expects and measures them on this data. And we sell it. Now our hands are tied a little selling the product here in the south end of the county. And I have a lot of my own employees on Select Health that live down here. In fact, I'd say at least half our employees live down in this part of the county. If they had a problem, a lot of times they have to travel a long distance for their hospital stay and their deliveries and all those kinds of things. And so it's problematic. But even with that issue, 25% or 27% of our Select Health membership in the county is right here in the south end of the county. And that's without a hospital down this way. So we know it's a popular product. We're going to make it really popular here in about a year because, again, you as owners, we feel, and especially as business owners, have really said we're sick of how fast healthcare is growing. You've got to figure out how to lock that in. We're taking the risk of the cost of healthcare insurance starting in 2016, and we're going to lock it in at about inflation. Inflation rates plus or minus 1%. It's been growing, inflation plus 5 or 6%. So when we do that, we know that product will be popular. We're not going to be able to insure everybody, but that again will put pressure on the south end of the county, and it's going to drive the need for services down in this part of the world. Okay, so this just shows the various hospitals. We already had that map before, and this big hole right here in the middle where you guys are located. I think, I want to talk about something that may come up later, but let me make sure I hit it so I don't miss it. One of the things that we're incredibly sensitive to is we're not an organization, again, we don't have shareholders. I don't personally benefit if Intermountain Healthcare does better financially or not, right? We benefit back to the community by providing better resources, reducing our prices, whatever it is that we can do. So we also want to be good neighbors, and Mountain View Hospital has done an amazing job meeting the needs of this end of the county. And so we want to be sensitive. We need them to continue to do what they're doing, and we don't want to come prematurely and make it hard for them to do business. So we're timing the timing of when we come into Spanish Fork at a time when we think the population's grown enough that there's room. Does that make sense? So this is not a decision or a move on our part to try to do anything to compete or hurt Spanish Fork Hospital. And that's why I show this slide here on health plans. It's really, there's a big chunk of the population for us to take care of that's coming up to Utah Valley Regional right now. So this is the land originally that we had purchased, which was up here where the theater is and the old Food for Less and all of that. And we bought that, and we thought we were building a little bit sooner than maybe we were at the time, and we were working with the Spanish Fork leadership. I have a great relationship now with the current mayor, and we've always had good relationships. So we bought that land right there, just off of Highway 6, I don't know exactly where I am, I think north of here. But anyway, bought that land on Highway 6. And appropriately, Spanish Fork City came and they said, boy, that is really prime commercial property, and you can see the vision of what you all have had for this area. I mean, it's just exploding and it's exciting. And they said, you guys are going to be right there on the storefront. Do you really need that, or could you survive if you were a little further back? And we said, and that's how we picked up more acreage. We said, we don't need that high-end storefront property. That's not really our vision. What we are always looking for.
It'll go away.
Is this your projector?
It's an old one of ours.
All right.
I planned this.
Anyway, we don't need storefront property. What we want, and you can see we haven't done a good job. Now, historically, we did a great job. You got to remember, and there's a lot of you in here that will remember, I existed, the State Street Corridor was your path through the county. So Utah Valley Regional is in an absolutely perfect spot for the path on Utah County. AF Hospital was just right off of that path, but now the world has changed. And so obviously, if we could things up, we'd plunk them right down, right on I-15. And we did that with our big facility at 53rd South in Salt Lake. And a lot of that is a lot of ambulance traffic and other things coming in. So that's really what we want, is we want accessibility to this I-15 and to Highway 6 for patients coming in. And so being right here, not so critical. Being near this, that's important. And so that's what we've done, is we've done a swap on land that I'm not the real estate guy, we give this up. So this involved, believe it or not, negotiations in St. George even, by the time this all got done. So all over the state, there's investors and people, and it all worked out, so we ended up with this plot of land down here. Now this isn't going to whet your appetite too much, because you're going to look at that and go, gosh, where's the hospital going to go? What's going to be in those services and all of that? And the reality is we don't really know yet. We just barely kind of got this land, and so our next step will be over this coming year, and that will be Scott's job, is for us to start to lay this out so that it works appropriately. We'll work with the city closely of how they're planning this, and we'll make sure we're maximizing the property. Likely affiliated physicians with ours will want to have clinic space nearby. We'll try to work through all those types of issues as we go. And then, so that the hospital. Let me talk about a couple of things. One of the main things that we see happening at this hospital will continue to be deliveries. And I think most of you know that deliveries are a big part of what we do in Utah County. So my peers, we have the BYU effect, we call it. So, and big families. And so Utah Valley Regional is an example. If I looked at a hospital that had the mission of Utah Valley Regional, level 2 trauma center, open heart, neurosurgery, all of those high-end services, it down into the middle of, let's say, Ohio, they would do about 20% of their business, maybe even 15% of their business would be OB related. So NICU, all that. At our hospital, it's a third. So 33% of what we do is delivering babies, which is part of why the Spanish Fork Hospital is so critical for us as well. This shows you where those births are coming from in the county. We can see the Spanish Fork area down here. So we're still attracting those in, and those are births only going to our facilities. And so there's a significant population, and we're using the number of births as kind of the trigger. We need to have enough births that we have enough, that the staff get enough experience that there's going to be no risk or no danger to anybody that comes into our hospital, and we can afford to provide the backup of C-sections and the various things that need to happen for those deliveries. And so that's what we're looking at right there. And those births continue to grow, and that we're pretty excited about that. So I talked about the Mountain Dew thing. We want to minimize the impact of Mountain Dew, and we really want to shift the load of Utah Valley Regional to Spanish Fork. And that's our vision of having appropriate services close to home. There's no need for somebody to come navigate. Now, if they want to come, some do. Some want to be next to the level 3 NICU. They're a little more nervous about that. Others are very comfortable delivering in a community hospital, and we know that based on the success of Orem Community Hospital. So our goal is to have that be closer to home and save that space at Utah Valley for some of those higher end services when we absolutely need it. And then the physician mix brought on, this we thought through with actually Mountain Dew as carefully as we can. And Tracy, you may have a different opinion on this, but I know historically it's been a little bit of a challenge to get, for instance, a general surgeon to come and actually really station themselves in the south end of the county and just really focus on this end of the county. They tend to migrate back up to Utah Valley Regional. We think having a Spanish Fork Hospital and Mountain View together, and it's because of payer mix, right? Different types of insurance is allowed, but that will make it more palatable for a surgeon to really want to come in and make their practice between those two hospitals. Does that seem like a logical approach? So we think it actually strengthens both of the hospitals by having us come down into that market. And that would be our hope, that we could encourage that to happen over time. What would it look like? So this facility will start out a little bit smaller. Scott, I think we said 30, 40 beds to begin with. And probably the best model to think of is a more robust version of an Orem Community Hospital, if you've seen that. And I had some various pictures up here, but they were a little misleading and confusing, so I left pictures off. Other than what I did leave up here is this is the new American Fork campus at this point, because our vision is unlike Orem, that's kind of always going to be about the size that it is because it's kind of wedged in between everything. We see Spanish Fork Hospital having the same path that American Fork Hospital had. So that it starts out as an Orem community, a great facility for a family practice physician to practice in and take care of their needs. And it will continue to grow as the community grows and the need grows and you add various specialties. So if you think about an AF out into the future, it's got full orthopedic surgery coverage, just providing services there, a lot of these higher end physicians, and we want to do that in Spanish Fork. We think that's what the community needs over time as we continue to grow. And so it will be constructed absolutely in the mindset of it will expand as the needs expand in the community and as the community continues to grow. So timeline, and then I think I'll wrap up with that and then take any additional questions we might have. So as I talked about, we're right now in the planning. How do we use the land? How do we work through it? How do we position on that? We preview that with Intermountain Central leadership, and then as that's approved, we will really begin planning with architects actually in 2016 with the concept of breaking ground in 2017 or 2018. And probably more towards 2018 is when you'll see us break ground with anticipated completion in 2020. Now, I know you're like, wow, that's 5 years, that's a long time. In my world, that's tomorrow. For us to get everything done that we need to, that really is tomorrow in 2020. What I'm really excited about, and I explained this to Kurt, we plan in 5 increments for our hospitals. And the Spanish Fork Hospital, because of the economy, because of other factors that we were dealing with, it kept staying in year 5. So does that make sense? Every year I'd go present it, and they'd bump it out to year 5. And I would agree with the reasons why. It wasn't like anyone was doing anything inappropriate. But now it's starting to move forward every year. So we're much more optimistic. We're much more optimistic about the fact that every year we get closer to 2018, that becomes a pretty solid date. And our optimism and our confidence about the fact that that will be the date is pretty strong.
Are you working out in the cold? Could you use some nice warm food? Then come on down to the dugout and enjoy one of our many homemade hot meals. Hot soup, hot sandwiches. Our bread is baked fresh every day. Have a pulled pork sandwich, or maybe one of our mouth-melting sweet rolls. Fresh breakfast and lunch served every day. Get out of the something hot. Down at the dugout.
At Curves, we know there's a part of you that's unshakable, another part that's unbelievable, and so many parts that are unstoppable. You've inspired us to add exciting new classes to our one-of-a-kind circuit. From classes that target your core, balance, and flexibility, to Jillian Michaels' total body workouts, the new Curves strengthens every part of every woman. Curves, strengthening women inside and out. Join today for 50% off our enrollment fee. Visit curves.com for details.
Security Insurance Agency, serving the community with personal service since 1964. Longtime customer, Lane Henderson.
He's covered from my business to my home, provided excellent coverage throughout the years. Personally takes care of my needs, so I really appreciate that personal touch.
Let Clark Swenson and his entire staff take care of you. Security Insurance Agency, 290 North Main in Spanish Fork, or call 798-3500.
It is such a good night to kiss. It is such a good night to dance. It is such a good night to Scooby-Doo-Doo-Doo, Scooby-Doo-Doo-Doo, Scooby-Doo-Doo-Doo love.
we have the founder of Culver's, Craig Culver, who's here to give a presentation. The local Chamber of Commerce will be here, local dignitaries, a lot of our subcontractors who help us put this together will be here. The thing we want to reemphasize in the community is we're not a fast food restaurant and we're not a stuffed shirt dress up restaurant either. We're the perfect mix of come as you are, fast, friendly, casual restaurant. We are a family restaurant. As you can see, our
Argyle with another three. Taylor Anderson. Number 3 will go up with the right hand, uncontested. Schofield works down low, up with the right hand, gets it to go. Hunter Schofield out to Reese. Reese with the 3. Off the mark, rebound by Jason Money. Pass down low, up with the right hand off the glass. Benson back up, 3-pointer on the way. That one good. Nothing but the bottom of the net by Shepard. Back out to Reese as he'll figure that one up there. Reese scores it. Here, just over 2 minutes left to go in this game. That one up and good. 1 minute now left to go here in this game. Jason Money fires up a 3. That one good. Will do it here. Bountiful running out the clock. Gets down low. One more shot up and missed. As that'll do it. 4 quarters in the book. Spanish Fort going down 51-67. Low block now. Spin around jump. Shot goes in off the glass for Olympus. Looking for a cutter. Gives it out to Polson. Polson now takes it. Polson, 3-pointer on the way. Good. Cade Polson able to start things off offensively for Maple Mountain as he drains a 3 there. Up top with number 21 as he misses it. Rebound grab by number 23 though. And gives Olympus the lead again 4-3. As number 3 kicks out 23 for the 3, and that one is nothing but the bottom of the net. All out to Polson. Polson, he'll take it himself, finds the lane up and off with the right hand. That one inbounded right to Polson. And still get the easy bucket, makes it 5-8. Getting the ball, Dixon out with the ball in control. Up with the left hand and able to get it to go. That one poked away by the Titans. And still go up with it. That one up and good. Work it down low, excellent. Maybe one too many passes there, but well, spoke too soon as a 3-pointer goes. Number 21 kicks it out. 3-pointer on the way, that one good. Polson with the 3. That one off, rebound by Maple Mountain. And one goes there by Abe Durant. Kicks it out to Polson. Polson, the Cromanhook, wide open 3 on the way, good. That's Cromanhook, able to give Maple Mountain a 20-19 lead. Teams playing at a pretty high level here today. Good drive to the lane. That's Lindsay. Trying to get back to Lindsay, still in the way, as Lindsay will take it to the hoop. Up and good. 4 quick points come for the Titans. Now Jaron Hall working it in. Nice lay-in there by Jaron Hall. Olympus Titans. Lindsay up and good. They'll have another shot at this as Polson will drive it down low, up with the right hand, get it off the glass with the right hand. Durant guarding and pretty well. Turn around off the good. 7 left to go as Jaron Hall with the ball. Long 3 on the way. That one good. Nothing but the bottom of the net. It's now down by 2 as Lindsay works down low. Turn around up off the glass. Good job by Lindsay. Rebound back to Hall. That one no good. This time Durant with the rebound. Durant turn around off the glass. Good. Inbounded to wide open Bryson Anderson. That one